We are live and kicking, so give me a second here to figure out my channels and stuff here. While I am clicking on stuff, why don't you do me a favor and click on the like and subscribe, all the doobly-doo stuff. I'm just going to boost my signal here real quick on Twitter and the Discord channels where I do most of my my work with, on like say the DMsGuild Design Space, the Instructor Boy Designosphere, and Treant Monk's Discord channel, and we got Dungeoneer Pack. I'm just going to be done here in a second, but like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. It's down in the link below, as well as a link to all of the different DMsGuild work that I have already published. That is 100% preview for you to take a look at as you wish. I'd certainly love for you to check out what I'm doing, and if you like it, buy something to encourage me to keep doing it. So we're done with that process, and now we are going to get into it. What we are looking at here, I got about maybe, let's put what is it? It's 11:30, so I got about an hour and 15 minutes here that I can put on the clock. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the different acts and encounters in the Eberron Adventure that I'm designing for 8th level characters, Crystals of Mabar, pending a different name perhaps. Stuart Braz is our editor, and Andy Ely is our co-writer, and I'm writer and developer and artist and layout and blah. Anyway, since Stuart is our editor and has successfully created many adventures in the past, then this is a flowchart system that he recommends to help make it easy for a DM to figure out where they're at inside of an encounter, to be able to move from one section or another. I'm going to do something different visual aesthetics, but similar idea. And when I build it out, when you click on a box, it'll take you to the appropriate page inside of the PDF. So we're seeing different types of encounter icons here, like if there's loot, or if there's social engagement, or if it's exploration challenge or a combat challenge. Most of the preset encounters inside of this thing are already pre-built to. What is going on with my screen setup here? Let me make sure that everything's looking appropriate. Something seems just off. Checking my bits. Okay. And then flip, and that is going to be flip. Okay, cool. So I can afford to stretch this out a touch, and we should be on point there. And then I can collapse that a bit. So here's the adventure that we have so far. So I'm just going to do some, I'm just taking that idea, and I'm just going to run amok. So hold on real quick while we get a mucky up in here. Here to here. Everything has to stack. Okay, great. So there we go. We've got this as its own standalone thing. I'm just going to make that smaller. So the way, let's see. How am I going to do this? I'm really just, I've been thinking about it offhand just a little bit, but this is just me going through the creative process. So you're about to watch me make some sausage here. The thing's broken into 3 different acts. You got Act 1, you got Act 2, and you got Act 3. And so Act 1, you got your intro hooks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 hooks. The further down the numerical order of hooks that are built into the adventure, the further into the adventure the earlier in the adventure you start. So if you are, say, doing a one shot, and you you would want to skip the first act because there's a lot of exploration and potential for character interaction with people in a community that can honestly eat up a lot of time. So the 5th and 6th hooks have you interacting with the first act, while hook 1, 2, 3, and 4 has you interacting on the second hook, and then everything flows into the third act. So it's just a matter of how do you get there. So, and then the first act has the village or thorp, and then it has you traveling from the thorp to the through the Carnwood Forest to the manifest zone of Mabar. So Act 2 is entering the manifest zone, and the manifest zone itself is a circle. It has its nexus point. The underground bunker of Act 3 is at the nexus point, but within this mile area of manifest zone, there is a forgotten cemetery, there's a flooded fort, and there is a topside entrance, and then there's 5 different encounters, little map vignettes that have specific like a possessed evil tree is one encounter that you can drop in between the cemetery and the fort, or the cemetery and the topside entrance, or the fort and the topside entrance. So when you go from the forest to the manifest zone, the DM chooses, if this is going to be a one-shot, maybe you skip the cemetery and the fort and just go straight to the topside entrance and fight the guards, or sneak past them, or convince them to let you pass any pillar of adventure that you want, to then just go directly to the topside entrance and then down into the underground bunker. But if you're running a longer series, like maybe you're doing a 2-shot, or maybe you're running this inside of a normal campaign where there are no deadlines, but you don't want to bother with the thorp, then you could skip the thorp altogether and either start in the forest or start at the edge of the manifest zone going inward. In that case, you might want to have the cemetery and the fort as spaces for the characters to explore, and as well as the 5 different encounters that are built in between them. The forest has, I think, 3. Let's go take a look. I'm gonna restructure this thing like that. So we're looking here and we're looking here. Let's see, skimming down through all the junk files. Here's all our hooks. We go down into the adventure plot hooks, get through there, get through the Thorpe, and then let's see, there is the forest. The forest specifically, Act 1, Region 2, Dangerous Forest. Let's see, the forest has Sheer Despair, one, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5. There's 4 plus 1. There's 1 plus 4. 1. If you're going to do the forest, there's 1 encounter for certain that you have, and then the rest of it is up whether a DM wants to spend more time in the forest or not. Hey, where am I on screen here? Bloop. There we go. 1 plus 4, and then Act 2 has let's see, 3. It's got 1 required, whether it's the cemetery or the fort or the topside entrance. 1 of those is required. Then there's 2 extra, either the cemetery and the fort. And then there's, kick through here, I believe there's 5. So like here's the cemetery that we've been developing on previous streams. Check out the links below my channel to see all of those. Here's a close-up of the crypt, and that's the centerpiece of the cemetery. And then there's the flooded fort, which here's the map to the flooded fort, which we've also been developing. And here's the entrance into the underground bunker for the fort. The crypt has a secret passage into the underground bunker as well. So the fort leads to the underground bunker, the cemetery leads to the underground bunker, and the topside entrance also leads to the underground bunker by going down these stairs or just jumping down the shaft. So all three of these sections can interact or stand alone. Hey man, how you doing? Yeah, right on. So I'm just pacing through. So there's additional encounters, optional manifest zone encounters. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that it? 1, 2, 3, 4. True. Whoa. Okay, great. And we have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once you get through, say like if you want to stretch this out into a campaign, if you're doing a campaign, you can, if you establish connection in Act 1 with the Thorpe, then you can use that as a safe haven for you to get long rests while you go back into the forest, and then through the forest into the manifest zone, and then you can tackle each one of these areas. And as you go back into the forest each cycle, the DM can have additional forest encounters crop up, so there's always something new for you to hit along the way, or you can skip it and just fast pace to the second act. And while you're in the second act, one of those 3 major areas is where you're trying to focus through, or if you're doing a long campaign, you can have each of them. Like the cemetery is spitting out undead that's then going into the forest that feeds the encounters that are available in the forest. If you don't take out the cemetery, then you're always going to have more undead coming at you while you're in the forest. Once you eliminate the cemetery, then you've got the topside entrance and the fort, both of which are controlled by Karrnathi mercenaries. If you go to the fort, you cut off the topside entrance, so there's no reinforcements for them. But if you don't, the DM can just keep throwing Karrnathi soldiers at you to continue escalating. But if you go to the fort and you cut that off, then you're disabling the topside entrance can reinforce the fort if the DM chooses. But the fort also has a tunnel that leads down into the underground bunker that correlates with the, like you got the fort here and you got the topside entrance here that goes down into the bunker. The fort has a passage that has horrible proportions. It'd be more like this. So the fort has an underground passage that you can trundle huge size machines or undead through from the bunker to the fort to reinforce the fort if the fort was still active 600 years ago, but it's dilapidated since then. So you can either just traverse the surface across the manifest zone to get to the topside fort and then go down the fort, or if you navigate the fortress, you can find your way into the underground chamber and then basically try to jimmy your way past that so you can get underground into the underground bunker. And then the underground bunker has 6 different goals that correlate with the 6 different hooks. So once you're in the bunker, your objective is different depending on which hook you've chosen to run the adventure. The DM could just roll, if it's just like a random one shot, you can just have the DM roll a d6. Or if you got 4 people in your party and you're just like doing this as like a 1 or 2 shot, just like as a sidetrack sort of like palate cleanser for your next campaign, then the DM could have each player roll a d6, and that's their objective. So their objectives don't necessarily work together. So you could have like hook number 2, where you're trying to take control of the artifact that creates the manifest zone, and other people could have hook 4, which are trying to destroy it. So not everyone's going to be able to achieve the goal. It's up to you to decide how you guys want to play it out, which could be a fun little PvP session at the very end of it while undead are trying to rain hell down on you. So depending on what it is that your objective is going to change what your end goal is, and there's different end bosses depending on what your goals are. And this is all, so it's all structured throughout the adventure, and it's all parsed out, section by section, region by region, area by area, but they all correlate to each other and they interrelate to each other, and each act has specific events that can trigger depending on which plot it is, which plot hook it is that you used. So that's the flow thought process that goes into building the adventure. And this is a sample piece. Like this is a work, like a proof of work for a random adventure book supplement that I'm creating for Eberron, where you roll a random die and you create different plot elements like the location and the villain and what their goal is, and what your plot hooks are to find out about it, and different interaction pieces like that. So you make a random encounter, like you make a random adventure, and this is an example of. This literally has a random example. Like we rolled the D100s for each of the different plot story elements, and we came up with this. The results that we got was like it's a manifest zone. It's involving somebody that's trying to take control of a powerful artifact. There's undead. There's one of the plot twists is that there's contrary forces that are acting against each other to try to take control of the objective of the plot. So all the different random elements interact together to create what we're now building. So when this is done, when I have the random adventure supplement, when I publish that, I can walk you through the thought processes, and I can see, hey, look at Crystals of Mabar, page 35, to see how I built this encounter to be either a social exploration or combat encounter, depending on what your team wants to do. So all of these things have different ways you can engage them. There's no one solution. So that's the thought process that goes behind it. Yeah, it's that the structure isn't new. It starts here. It's the, I forget what the technical term is, but you've got your starting point, you've got your end point, and then you've got the slush in between. And so the way that it looks, and you may have seen other people talking about this, but you've got this slush thing that happens where there's only one point of entry. Like you get into the mill, and once you're in the mill, you decide which solution you think is best to get to the end point. And then once you get to the end points, it all boils down to the same end result. But with mine, you've got these tangents. You've got like these tangents here, and you've got tangents here, and then there's 6 different systems that lead you, 6 different narratives that lead you into it. And then the side of there's also the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 segments that piece off of that on top of it. So that's, I've done I think 5 play tests on this so far. We've been using different hooks along the way. We've used different Act 2 centers, like one was a cemetery, one was 2 of them was the fort. We had 2 on the cemetery, 2 on the fort, and then we got another one that's doing the top side entrance. And then the next play test I'm doing, that I've been making invites to, like an Indestructible Boys channel and Dungeoneers pack, as well as reaching out to Facebook, the Eberron Facebook channel, to see if people are interested in playtesting. We've been going through the different hooks to see what's broken and what isn't. But this is the ideation. So you start here, it blows out into a sandbox, and then it collapses back into a set solution. But the set solution is going to have its own variants. So that's all of the thought process that goes behind it. So what I am attempting to do right now is, how am I supposed to visualize that? So I'm a big Path of Exile fan. I don't know if anyone else is, but let's look at POE, Path of Exile skill tree, and then let's go to an image of the skill tree, and this is what. Oh, let's go back, because that's worthless. Come on. Let's copy image, and then come back into here, and we'll zoom in. This is how Path of Exile works. Whenever you start somewhere, like say you start here, and as you gain levels, you can pick here or here, and then when you pick this one, you can go here or here, and you can always push forward. You can push them both, like every time, like first level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level, and then 6th level, 7th level, 8th level, 9th level, 10th level, 11th level, yada, 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 up to 100 levels. That's how Path of Exile skill tree works. But I love Path of Exile. If you haven't played PoE, that is an amazing action RPG game. It is, wow, what a killer. But the way that they have their wheels built is kind of how I'm thinking about building this. Since everything's going to be hyperlinked, the visuals can be anything I want, and I keep using circles here. So what my thought is that you've got Act 1, and then we got Act 3, and then we've got Act 2. So I'm thinking like Act 1 leads to Act. How am I supposed to visualize this? You've got. Let me rewind that back. So if let's focus on Act 2 right now. We've got Act 2, which has it's all leading to Act 3, which is the bunker. So we're going to want to have a wheel that kicks across there. So what we can, and then you have Act 1 here, and then we'll be able to build the wheel for Act 3 after this. But this is just how I'm trying to visualize it. So you've got the top side. Maybe it's more like this. Where we got the cemetery, and you've got the fort, and you've got the top side entrance. The top side entrance leads to 3. The cemetery leads to 3. The fort leads to 3. And all 3 of these things lead to the forest, and the forest leads to the thorpe. That's kind of the rough thought process that this thing looks like. So like the forest can lead to the top side entrance, can lead to the fort, or can lead to the cemetery, and like that. And then you get into the actual let's do those 3 as an underground bunker. So here's those 3 connection points. Here's your forest that tangents off in those 3 directions. So like this is like Act 3. This is Act 2, Act 3, and then this is Act 1. So it's like this breaking here. Like I said, I'm just doing this is the same way like I build book covers and stuff, and like interior artwork and stuff. I have this ideation phase where I'm trying to like figure out like where things fit in the space for you to look at. Like what's the if you're gonna have the title at the top of the page, and you're gonna have like byline at the bottom. That gives you an idea of like how much space on the cover do you have to navigate for you to be able to create the visuals. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, but it's this mapping process. So let's see, and then there's so that's the general gist of it. So I'm going to take those away. So there's those 3 things, and then these things can connect to each other. And these connect to each other directly as well. So I need to create this 3 branching connecting system thing here that doesn't get in the way of each other. So maybe I do it like this, that you've got the forest, and you got the cemetery, you got the fort, and then you got the top side. And so maybe you got the tree, you got the tree, you got the tree, and you've got here and here, and then you've got here, which goes to Act 3. That makes a little bit more sense. Maybe I can. I can do. Maybe I have the top side here, which connects with a ring here. Then I want to disconnect this real quick. Go back here. Because this connects, this connects, this connects. These connect. I don't want to. Maybe that's. Can I have a larger circle here, which is the manifest zone itself, and then there's the 1, 2, 3, 4 that can all connect. Like that. You see what I'm doing? You see what I'm trying to do there? Hornetico is saying art compositions is hard sometimes. I've taken to making my own cover art for my home brews and figuring out what works. Figure out what works. Take a while. Yeah, it does. It really can, especially if you've got a lot of really complicated elements that you're trying to integrate into one. I don't know, congruence is the right word. Combined. Visualization of what is like. There's making it look cool. There's good layout, and then there's like the Ludo narrative, as Cleric Corner would say, Riker. Does what I'm visualizing convey the proper information that you need to grok what it is this cover is trying to tell you? So you can have a cool character, but if that character is a wizard and you're trying to do a fighter, then that's the wrong narrative. Even if the composition and the placement works, you're gonna have to like switch out those robes for armor and that cool wand for a rapier or something to make sure that fits the narrative that you want. But and these are the random encounter, the non-random encounters, and then on top of the optional encounters, there's a random encounter chart where just while you're stumbling from the cemetery to the fort, you could run into D4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on top of that, while you're on your way from like 1 to 4, you could run across, specters and like a shadow mastiff or a patrol of Carnathi soldiers that are hunting shadow mastiffs, and so it's. But I'm trying to build this thing so I don't have to so I have the forest down here and I hit here. Can I build this a way that I don't have to actually cross any other line to get you from the forest? Like, this is where I'm breaking. Like, I can go from the forest and get to the cemetery, and I can get from the forest to the fort, and I can get from the fort and the cemetery. But there's no required optional encounters that get you. So maybe I need to shrink this down. See what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to not cross any streams at any point, So let's. I keep wanting to do that because the fort is on the way to 3. You got 1 down here, so that goes there. That goes there. Maybe there might not be a way. Maybe I do it like, yeah, that's how I've done it already. Yeah, okay, so that part works. Here to here, and then but that locks. That closes this guy in. That works. And that works. I want to be like, I want to be something like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got this outer circle, and then you've got this inner circle here. But then you're crossing a stream here. Man, that's tough. Go goes like that. Am I okay with crossing like that? Let's check POE and see if it does any of that monkey business along its route. I don't think anything ever crosses paths. God, this game is so deep. All these things is like plus 10% to crit, plus 5 to crit damage. You know, like increase your max crit threat, like stun effect, like 15% chance of stun effect when you crit on top of everything else. It's fun. Sure not. Let's see. Hornetico, what you saying? I'm not sure. There is a way to do it clearly, but using color to depict varying routes might be helpful if that's an option. That could be an option. I'm colorblind myself. I don't see any color at all. But I respect the aesthetics of color. Maybe that. Let's look at that. So you got here and here, and you got a wheel here, and then you got a wheel here. So let's go back to here. Can I arrange these things so that they're on a... Here's the end goal. Here. Can I do that? Can I do this differently so that this is here and this is here? So this is the top side entrance. Cemetery, fort. I got this line here. How do I... Oh no, yeah, this isn't contradictory. Oh, but it cuts off. But it's cutting off the fort. So I can have this to here. That works. And I got these four, and I can do that. But I'm cutting off. This time I'm cutting off the fort. And it's basically the same problem. I just drew it differently. I need to... Maybe it's a non-issue. Maybe this isn't a problem. I definitely don't want them chained together like that because that's not accurate. I might that just might have to be the way it is. Wait. Hold on. Okay. Maybe. One, two, three, four. Here. Bop, 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 bop. here. Like that. Yeah, we got branches that do that. I think we found a solution. Cemetery, fort, 3, 1. Fort, nice. Nice. Okay, so how can I make this less... How can I make this less ugly? I can pull the cemetery here. What's going on? Yeah. Oh, yeah, this works. This is perfect. This is perfect. So let's there. Right now I'm just working out the aesthetics to see if I can make a more balanced looking thing. If I can. Oh, yeah. Ha-ha! There we go. Top side, cemetery, fort. You start off in the forest, and you can take your wheel around here to 3, to the topside entrance, or you can go directly to the cemetery, and from the cemetery you can go directly to the topside entrance, or you can go from, it just mirrors, or you could go from the fort into the manifest zone. The manifest zone, you then have an encounter. And then you could just continue around, and from the encounter you could then get to the cemetery, or you could then you could go around and you can take this and then go here. Does that work? Does that look right to you? Are you seeing any pathing issues? I don't know if you're still around Hornetico or not, or if anyone else is out there. Anybody out there? Pink Floydio. But yeah, I think that takes care of the central hub of it. One, 2, 3. Yeah, you're right, because they're isolated, so maybe they need to, well, actually, what I probably need to do is come through here, probably give this a rotate so it's off kilter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, 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 here. Region 2, Region 3, Region 1, option 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Yeah. I'm pretty pleased with that. Pretty pleased. I get my teeth next month. I don't have any teeth right now because I got them knocked out on accident. So they had to rebuild all the bone inside of it. And tomorrow I get to go to the doctor, and they're going to put the pins in, and they're going to do a new mold of the gap, and then they're going to go send it off to a factory, probably in China, and it'll probably take forever for me to get them back. But once they come back, I'll have my new choppers. I'm hoping that I'll have them in time for my birthday on May 20th, so I can eat a burger for my birthday. I've been having to cut up sandwiches into small little bite sizes for since August. That's how long it takes. In America, it takes 9 months and $10,000 to replace 4 teeth like this. It's a little ridiculous, and I've got damn good insurance. So, man, keep your teeth. If you got an underbite that hits your overbite, it destroys the bone in your mouth over. Well, it took me 30 years to destroy all the bone in my upper palate. But once that bone goes away, if you just say accidentally trip and hit your face on something, it knocks out some teeth. So if your teeth are bumping, get a night guard and then go to an orthodontist to get your teeth straightened out so they don't bang into each other all the time. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a fortune. I have to do the same for the lower set, so my grill's going to end up costing me like $20,000. It's ridiculous, but they'll last for frickin' ever. So cheers to that. Yeah, I think this is built. Sorry, total tangent there. Let's go to shrink that down, and then so let's build out the forest. Let's see. We've got hook, 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 hook. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so well, they all technically, like, you can take any of these 4 hooks and you can still take the time to show up in the Thorpe first. Like, you don't have to show up at this. This would be the manifest zone, which then. How am I doing on time? Oh god, I still got 30 minutes. This is great. If I can just get a rough skeleton built in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be a pretty happy camper. This will be a really successful day. I will be back. I'm going to be back tomorrow probably about the same time, and it's going to be my first session of me taking the in-command mass combat system that Ukulele Bard and I have been developing for the past few months, and converting the first scene, or the first act of Horde of the Dragon Queen, Greenest in Flames. We're going to convert that into a first rank command challenge where your first level characters are leading soldiers into battle against hordes of goblins and an adult red dragon, or an adult blue dragon. So it's going to be tomorrow will be the same ideation process as this, going through the logistics of breaking that encounter down, looking at D&D Beyond, and then churning it out on a piece like this as well. So that's going to probably take a couple weeks for me to flesh out, but that's going to be tomorrow's lunchtime stream. But I'm going to continue on with this. So like, subscribe, check all my work down in the links below. Follow me on Twitter. And if you know anybody that wants to actually have a 5e mechanics for playing mass combat in 5e instead of playing 5e, setting the game down, and then playing something else for a while you try to figure out a war, and then picking your characters back up and continue to play D&D again. If you don't like doing that, you definitely want to check out In Command. So start showing up with me next week, tomorrow, and the weeks moving forward. And when I start dropping playtest content on this again, jump on board with that. So let's check out some comments here. That sounds like it'll be cool. Yeah, thank you. It should be a really cool conversation. It's a lot of. It seems that a lot of Wizards of the Coast wants to disempower your characters from actually being able to, be in command. They want you disempowered and weak and earn your way to being able to call the shots. But when you've been a veteran gamer like myself for past 30 years, and the team that you like to run with has been playing almost as long as you, if not longer, then they know how to tear things open. And so having options in these Wizards of the Coast adventures where you're on the aggression, when you're the aggressor from point one, that can change the whole flavor of the campaign, like Storm King's Thunder. If you take command of that flying citadel and use it to go attack cities and chase down dragons, instead of chasing your tail the entire adventure until you figure out what's going on, you can establish lines of communication where you can actually coordinate attacking dragons when they're showing up in areas and punishing them for doing it with your armies. So that's the thought process there. Hornetica says, my brother absolutely loves mass combat style. He's a huge military history buff, so he'll probably enjoy that conversation. Awesome. It's designed to scale anywhere from you and a couple guys doing some shield and spear tactics, all the way up to piloting an armada of astral skiffs to go attack hell, which I've done in a previous campaign. It's very fun. So this is the This is what we're trying to do. We're doing the Thorpe, and we're doing the forest. Yeah, that's pretty easy. So yeah, any of these hooks can start. These are the first 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is 5 and 6. Hook 5 and 6. Assume. Let's yeah, that's how it looks. So 1, 2, 3, 4 can start at the edge of the manifest zone. Like a lot of these are like for example, the gatekeepers hire you to disable this manifest zone before it throws all the planes out of orbit and destroys the world. Now, gatekeepers do that kind of stuff. They're druids. So they use a tree stride ritual to take you from where they hire you from their inner circle, and they tree stride you to the next biggest tree right outside the manifest zone. So you pop into existence, and then here you go. Or if like the Church of the Silver Flame hires you to shut down the manifest zone because it's spawning evil, they can plane shift you to the edge of the manifest zone. Boop, there you go. Because plane shift's not very precise. So there's a lot of different ways, or like in one of them you can just take a train and then take some horses and then you'll end up in the forest. Or if you want to take a train because it's part of a long-going campaign, you can then opt into going into the Thorpe directly to ask questions about, hey, what's going on. There's actually two scenarios in the Thorpe. One is everyone's dead when you get there, and the other scenario is everyone's just scared. So inside of the Thorpe, there's two completely different narratives of everyone is dead and it's not safe to be here, or everyone's still alive, they're happy you're here, it's a safe haven, depending on if this is like a one-shot thing or if it's going to be part of an ongoing campaign where you actually want people to set up shop and start interacting with the Carnwood. You can use this to shut down the Manifest Zone. Now you're rolling out of this village and there's Carnwood stuff going on, that or like there's Icy Flow River stuff adjacent to the river that's going on, or there's conflicts between Moorhold and Karnath, and you're in a perfect position, having worked with hook number 5, which is the constable hires you to go check this stuff out because he doesn't have time for it because halflings are raiding from the Talenta Plains to the south. He doesn't have time to mess around with this stupid little refugee Thorpe camp that no one cares about. So you can either have conflict, or safe haven. And then in the forest, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 optional encounters as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and what am I thinking? What I'm thinking I want to do is, since this is set, I can take this here, S-crap, and this is reference stuff. Here's the actual design space that we're working inside of. So here, and then free transform. Let's turn it sideways for now to change our perspective for a bit, and then we'll cut this. Here into its separate piece. Notes. Also, this Manifest Zone is reminiscent of the Exclusion Zone in the Stalker games, which is very cool. A Manifest Zone is a specific interplanar event specific to Eberron. All the planes in Eberron orbit the home world. They all have their own moon that is a physical representation of the plane, but then beyond that, they actually have their own like outer inner plane sort of thing. It's its own cosmology. When the two planes can co-terminate, and when they do, they create a Manifest Zone, and that Manifest Zone is like a bridge between both worlds. And this adventure there's an artifact that was created specifically designed to create that bridge, and all these different organizations and superpowers in the world know it's happening because they can sense it, and they're sending your team in as an 8th level adventuring team to try to knock it out, or to try to reinforce it, or to try to take control of it, depending on what your plot line is. So they're all different. Wow, I still have 20 minutes. So let's see, what can I do? I'm going to, let's see. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my plot hooks. And the 2 plot hooks lead to the Thorpe and the forest, like that. But on the way, so the forest is the region. There's only one specific encounter in the forest, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 optional encounters. Who's ba-da-doop-a-dooping me? I'm getting ba-da-doo-dooped. Apparently an emergency is popping up, so so sad. I'm gonna have to drop the stream. So I gotta go. Sorry guys. Real life is calling me and it needs me. So I gotta go. I love you guys lots. I'll catch you when I get to.